Hey folks, and welcome to They Might Be Racing. Today out at the shop we've got a 1998 Dodge Dakota pickup. Previously we replaced the serpentine valve. Now this particular vehicle also has some idling issues. Basically what happens is when you slow down to a stop, the idle drops, the car stalls. So first thing you do is you start to look at your fuel system. Now one of my favorite culprits in any of these types of scenarios is the throttle position sensor. So on this engine here, the 3.9 liter V6, it's got an old school intake manifold, resembles very much a carburetor, and the throttle position sensor sits right here. So basically what we wanted to do is we wanted to take off the throttle position sensor and do some diagnostics on it. Well, in the process of removing it, as we were disconnecting it, the throttle position sensor disintegrated. So I would say that my basic diagnostics here are to replace the throttle position sensor. Now the easy thing here is that it goes on right on the side of the carburetor, the manifold body. There's a new one's got a little gasket on it. And just double check, make sure these are still the same size. So I use this one of these star drive bits, a T by 225. And what you do is, once you got your gasket in place, is you immediately drop it into the engine. Got to do that at least once. And inside of here, you see these two little tangs? What you need to do is set it on there, like so. So literally you put it on there and there should be some basic pressure on there. Then we go ahead and feed these guys through and get them threaded. And from here, once you got them sort of basically threaded, you tighten this up. Now, things that lead you to think that maybe your throttle position sensor is off is if you start going through basic diagnostics and you know that your fuel's okay and your spark's okay, but let's say you're driving along and your idle jumps around a lot on you, or you floor it and you go nowhere, or the reverse, you barely touch your gas pedal and it skyrockets, those are indicators that your throttle position sensor is off. Now these guys are half electrical, half mechanical. The electrical bit is all of the signal that goes back and forth to the computer, and that can be tested using a basic voltmeter across the pins. Generally speaking, you're looking for a low voltage. In this case of this car, I believe it's 5 volts across the pins coming out of here. That'll tell you that, whether or not you're getting correct voltage from the computer, and then you connect it and you back check it from there, and that'll tell you whether or not the sensor has the right things. Now inside of the sensor, and the nice thing here is since this one's exploded, you got a little dial here, so as you hit the gas, the dial spins. Now what's missing, or has gone flying, is the spring load in here. So there's a spring in here that resets it to the nominal position, and here's your contacts. So when these things start to wear out, or they get fried on the inside, or they get wet, the contacts don't work correctly, it doesn't send the right signals, so your car doesn't know what to do correctly. Once you're done screwing it in, make sure your connections are all clean, snap that into place, and you are done replacing your throttle position sensor.